Hi everyone, welcome back to Umineko.
Hey, we're back.
Oh my goodness. So, hopefully for you guys, there's been no break in this playthrough. Also, if you're new, go back, watch the first episode.
It's true, it will get very confusing from here if you haven't watched the first episode.
And when we say episode, we don't mean episode of our recording.
Although that would help as well.
Episode of the novel.
The game, the novel, however we want to call it.
It's a bit silly. Anyway, it's been a little too long for us. We have both been hammering to get back at this.
It's okay. I'm sure we'll be able to get right into it because I have props. I'm ready to go. So I bought this pipe.
Yeah, if you don't see the picture right now, Ben has a pipe. And if you don't know what the pipe is significant for, again, go watch episode 1.
This is beautiful golden pipe. I found it on eBay. It was not as expensive as I thought it would be.
When we say found it on eBay, he spent several weeks searching for it. It wasn't like, oh look, here's a pipe.
Look, I had to find the perfect one, okay? The perfect one. I need to paint it or
tragic.
something. I might have to paint it.
So am I at this point.
Look, you're so into this.
I have been falling deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole.
Oh, it's so good. I'm so happy that that's happening. This is what I wanted from the beginning. I wanted you to fall into the rabbit hole that is Umineko, because that's what's happening right now.
It's just...
and this is only the first episode of 8.
Oh
so
my god.
We have a journey ahead of us.
Let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh man. Oh! Good morning. The Golden Witch eagerly awaits your arrival. Please do grant her that wish. Good
start.
That was a non-intentional pun. Were you able to get a good rest and perfect your strategy? The witch expects a lot from you and is more than ready to launch an assault right from the start. I also look forward to seeing your strategy. The difficulty level is extreme. The witch intends to make you surrender all at once.
Hold on, what was the difficulty level for episode 1? No,
you
shit.
clicked on episode 1!
No!
You dumbass.
Alright, hold on.
Go
That's right.
back.
Hold on. What is this? I'm glad we clicked on this. What is this?
This is something that I didn't know about until after I'd finished all 8 episodes, but this is the chapter select. So if we'd like to go to a specific chapter and check some certain things, this is how we do it.
So do not cast the spell.
Please
start
do
from
not,
the beginning.
Do not cast the spell. Actually, what happens if we click cast the spell? I'm kind of curious. Let's do it. Fuck it. Oh, here we go. Look at this!
Oh, that's
Look how useful that is!
Oh, there's even times!
Oh my god, that's so helpful.
That's actually fantastic.
Huh. I never knew of this. This is really cool.
See, aren't you glad I made a mistake? Back to main menu.
Debatable. Anyway, episode 1 was trivial, just enjoy the ride, which we mostly did. Episode 2 is extremely difficult. We're gonna get attacked by the witch immediately. Also, episode 1, legend. Episode 2, turn of the Golden Witch.
Oh, right, because we're doing... turn the chessboard around.
Turn the chessboard, flip that shit.
Let's go. I'm hyped.
I'm so down for this. Here comes the intense opening. Oh.
So this is exactly the same warning we had last time.
It is. Same portrait and everything.
I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like any weird dialogue that had changed in case it was what
This isn't quite the opening you were expecting, was it?
I mean, it was the opening I was expecting. I just wasn't expecting it to be George.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested as to how this plays out.
I'm gonna let you know, this is you. You're starting us off.
Is Battler?
No.
It's Shannon.
Okay. Your best girl voice. Let's go.
George-sama, please look. They're so cute. Look, look. Oh my, we have to look at this in the new images.
We definitely do. Her new, it's so pretty, the little bow. I love it.
That's way less aggressively breast than the previous outfit.
I mean, I was just looking at the ribbon and the cap, because the cap is incredibly cute. I would take that home, 10 out of 10.
It looks really dorky in this version.
It does a little bit, but you know what, that's fine. It looks beautiful.
You're narrating.
I am. Shannon found a pair of Hammerhead Sharks swimming playfully in the tank, and looked as excited as a grade schooler seeing an aquarium for the first time.
Oh! Boy!
Georgie boy!
What does that say?
Tomitaki Flash!
Tomitaki Flash.
Tomitaki Flash!
Also the dog tags. What's that shit?
I don't know. Maybe he was in the military at the ripe old age of 18.
Oh my goodness. 18? I was 23, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, Battler was 18.
Oh. You know what? I don't remember the ages of anyone in this novel. It's a problem. Point is, yeah, they really are cute. Almost makes me want to eat them. Oh.
I feel so sorry for them.
I would too.
Did you know, I hear the Japanese are the only people in the world who go to aquariums and say how delicious everything looks.
Is that social commentary?
That might actually... Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's weird.
Is that so? I'm sure even Americans and Italians would want to eat these.
I don't think so.
I think they would.
Maybe Italians.
I might.
Probably not Americans.
I'd eat a whale.
Here we go, losing audience again, straight out the gate.
Those clothes look good on you.
Hold on, we forgot to look at George's new images.
Oh, this is true. There he is.
Oh!
Tomitake.
Gun show!
He's looking good.
Look at
strapping.
that. Look
that
at
jacket though. And that like V. That look at those rippling muscles.
Look at that cleavage though. That is some dank man cleavage.
George, I love you.
Also, his shirt just says Tomitake.
It does. It doesn't say Tomitake Flash.
What a letdown.
I guess they couldn't fit it in. They didn't have the budget. Anyway, those clothes look good on you. Really? Shannon clutched at her chest with both hands in embarrassment. She apparently felt like she was being made fun of for wearing these clothes she wasn't used to. Though George's face didn't show it, he'd actually said something so completely unexpected that surprised even him. And he was as embarrassed as Shannon on the inside.
How smooth.
However, when he saw how embarrassed Shannon was, here we go, he started to imagine he was teasing a girl he liked. And instead of embarrassment, a ticklish amusement welled up in him. No, he wasn't just imagining it. He really was teasing the girl he liked. Aww. Before now, he wouldn't have expected to hear a line like that anywhere these days. Not even in a manga or something.
Wow.
Rip. In fact, if he'd seen another couple acting like this, his first instinct would be to start throwing rocks at them.
Yeah, remember when they spent ages describing how George was a really respectful young man in the last episode?
And I was like, I'll throw rocks at couples.
Oh.
That's so good. And I'll eat the dolphins, and I'll throw rocks at people.
What a great start.
Look, I love George. Don't hate.
I'm so glad that we're back to something mildly relaxing.
True. Not quite as intense as the finale of the first episode, but even if someone were to start throwing rocks at us now, I'm sure they'd be no different than confetti celebrating our relationship. No, I can't even remember those lonely days when I felt jealous of couples who were completely oblivious to their surroundings. To use an old-fashioned phrase, these really are rose-colored days I'm living in. I'm so entranced that I barely notice that massive tank in the world's largest aquarium anymore. Instead, all I see are the expressions flitting across Shannon's face as she plays with the fish.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's my first time seeing a tank large enough for a whole whale to swim in. What? Didn't say anything about whales.
I said something about whales, you didn't believe me. I heard this tank is the biggest selling point here. And that it's the biggest in the whole world.
I thought this might have been different at the time, but I'm pretty sure the biggest tank in the world is currently in Dubai.
You know what? I don't know. I'd have to Google it or ask an aquarium person.
I can tell you, it's pretty goddamn massive.
Do they have whales though?
I don't think so. I don't think they do. I'm pretty sure this is me. Is that so? That's amazing. It's really wonderful. It doesn't even look like a tank at all. More like they sliced off a part of the sea with a knife and brought it here. Can't use words like knife. No, stop, Shannon. Bad Shannon.
Oh god, don't say the word knife.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it. You're right.
At least she didn't say steak. I might have walked out of the room at that point.
That'd have been just for the interview. I'm out! You're right. This really is a little sea. Despite its size, I hadn't thought of the tank as anything more than a tank. That's why I found her metaphor so interesting. No matter how far
that's right, metaphor, super interesting, knives!
Broaden their experiences, they always end up viewing the world through the lens of their own values. Maybe that's why it's so interesting to interact with people who have different worldviews.
Is this just Beatrice throwing shade at Battler right now? Is that what's going on?
I mean, this is pretty clearly from George's perspective.
I know, but the way it's like...
definitely, there's some referencing going on.
Oh,
here,
that's so
definitely. Good. I voiced my thoughts on this. She responded.
True, this may not be the real sea, but if those little guys swimming in here believe it's the sea, then that's what it is. See? This is so...
This is great. Even though they're inside a finite tank.
Oh my god, no.
Island, I mean tank.
The sea is finite too. Then again, even if the sea were infinite, how much could we cover in our whole lives? I'm sure it'd be only a minuscule fraction of the sea.
This is great.
Oh, I was like, right. This is relaxing, and then they're like, fuck you.
You're like, hold on. There's a little bit more going on here. I'm glad you're picking up on this. You're right. It's ironic, isn't it? Even though the world is so vast, most of us humans live our lives without ever leaving our own country. If the inhabitants of a place believe they're living in a complete world, then even the bottom of a narrow well could be a wonderful world, an entire ocean. At least for the frogs that live there. Oh god. Oh, that was definitely you actually, but still.
I was hoping. I was hoping that we would at least get a small aquarium scene before we delve straight back.
It's fine. Just accept it. You know, what did they say about this chapter? Extreme difficulty? It's fine. I hope you perfected your strategy. Let's continue. Shannon, who spent her days as a servant on a small island 10 kilometers in circumference called Okenjima, said that with a smile. So that was definitely you. That's okay. Or...
That's right, really, we're all Shannon inside.
It's true. We're just frogs that are happy living at the bottom of the well. Turn of the Golden Witch.
Turn of the Golden Witch?
That music, though.
I am...
It's ominous. Show me a butler.
I don't remember this happening for the last one.
It did. When we were on the plane, they went through the names.
Oh, it did too.
This time, though, we're getting a shot to the aquarium. Show me a George, show me a Jessica, show me a Maria. Look at all these people. Look at that aquarium. They're having a good time.
I can't wait for all of them to die.
Kinzo, Kraus, Natsuhi, Ava and Hideyoshi. And this lovely beach that they wore their dress shoes to. Rudolph, Carrie, Rosa. It's just...
Are we missing anyone other than the servants yet?
I don't think so. I'm sure we'll get to them. Nanjo.
That's the first time we've seen his last name.
Cannon.
For most of them, actually.
Goda and Kumasawa. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were in the first episode. And Beatrice. That's a new one. And there's this, like, shrine thing here. Very, very cultural.
It is very pixelated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a weird filter being put over all of these images. It's kind of Ryukishi's style.
No, I mean the text.
Oh, the text? Eh.
I'm aware, because they've been doing the images the whole way through.
This is true. This is true.
I'm so glad it just cuts out in the middle.
It's great. Production quality. Look at all this food.
Look at all this food.
Look at all these people. Such happy people. After we finished walking through the whole aquarium, we had a small late afternoon lunch at a restaurant with a nice view.
Just flat white.
Yeah. The word buffet has the power to make any boy's heart leap. I was like that myself once. But with Shannon beside me, this buffet felt different. I couldn't shamefully pile on only the things that I liked. I was...
He has to keep up that buff chest.
That buff chest.
Ooh.
Domitake Flash. Worried about my appearance and choose a menu suited for a snob. Toast, salad, and coffee. If I'd been by myself, I would have made a pile of oily stuff like yakisoba, mashed potatoes, gratin, and so on. Shannon, is that going to be enough for you? If it is, then I guess we men are animals with really bad fuel efficiency.
That's not what I...
On Shannon's tray, there was only tea and salad. Maybe the mere fact that I thought she was a whole plate short proved I was thinking with a man's stomach.
Actually, I should be asking you the same thing. Don't you think men should eat a little bit more than that? I imagine you normally eat much more for lunch, right?
Oh, right. Dang. Come to think of it, you already know how much I eat normally because of meals I've had at the head family household.
That was so clunky.
Oh.
That's right. So I was worried you might have an upset stomach today.
Shannon was kind enough to guess that I wasn't feeling well. Looks like my stupid attempt to show off made her worry. And apparently my stomach wasn't going to let me show off any longer.
Damn.
Okay, I'll confess. I was just trying to look cool. I held back just because I was with a girl. Ugh. So fucking... Oh, so
I thought so.
He's so nervous.
Considering how much you eat during lunch at the family conferences, I thought this wasn't nearly enough. Please don't be so reserved and feel free to go choose another dish.
Shannon's got this. It's not fair for only me to be embarrassed. What about you, Shannon? How will you be able to keep up with the Oshumiya family workload on such a sparse diet?
Ow.
Shannon fell silent and blushed bright red and went, ow. Apparently, I wasn't the only one showing off. When I realized that, my embarrassment disappeared completely. So that's not enough for you either, is it? Yeah, usually eat a bit more than this for lunch.
A woman's stomach is made of magic, so this is enough.
So we've both been showing off to each other. Let's not hold back anymore, shall we? I smiled to show that I wouldn't make fun of her anymore and rose from my seat. After finally coming to Okinawa, it'd be a waste if we didn't eat some bitter melon.
Now listen,
Yes.
I'm no expert on the J-pans, but I feel like that is Okinawa.
You know what? It might be. I might have hecked up a little bit. I wasn't going to draw attention to it.
Because I'm pretty sure my friends who are familiar with the J-pans have been to this place and referred to it as Okinawa.
It might be Okinawa. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm glad that you've become the master. Maybe you should take over leading me through this journey. Maybe that's
I'm just going to make the, like, Darth Vader Death Star speech right before he kills Obi-Wan.
Perfect. Oh, God. I'll go get some fried bitter melon or something.
Fried bitter melon.
Fried bitter melon.
Fried bitter melon?
Shannon, come with me.
Just a bitter melon?
Come on.
Just
some bitter melon.
Just a bitter melon.
Oh my God.
This will make no sense to someone who doesn't understand our accent.
It's fine. Please. Oh my God. This is awkward. This day is awkward enough with you making fun of me. Fucker.
Me making fun of you?
Yes.
But you're getting too into character here, man. Yes.
To anyone watching us, we might seem like an incredibly charming and embarrassing couple.
Correct.
This is true.
That is true.
It's definitely what we look like. But it's only after becoming a couple that you realize, to us, this exchange of words is everything, our entire world. That's why no matter how much everyone else stares at us with blank expressions, we never notice. Indeed, at this age, I finally understand the feelings of couples who want to endlessly flirt without any regard for their surroundings. After I returned with a plate piled up with fried food, Shannon arrived with a pretty cake. God damn it. While laughing at our fake stoicism, we resumed our lunch. Even though it's a restaurant with a view of the sea, it's so cloudy. Luckily, our window seats gave us a view of seaside scenery so grandiose it extended even beyond our field of vision. However, because of the cloudy sky, we were only seeing a fraction of its usual beauty.
That's right. If it were clear, we'd undoubtedly see a deep blue sea.
Yep. I'll bet you're already used to the sea around Okinawa, but the deep blue of the sea here would surely have been a sight to see. It's a real shame.
But no matter how blue the sea is at work, it might as well be grey to me. I'm not working today, so,
Apparently, Shannon was doing her best to say an embarrassing line, but I didn't let her get off easy. So close. If only you said, "When watching the sea alone with you, George-sama, it looks like deep blue no matter how grey it is," I'd have given you full marks and a prize.
I'm sorry?
Want to hear what the prize was?
If you don't mind telling me.
Oh my God, Shannon, please. No, I won't tell you.
It's no fair.
When I was in elementary school, I was always the kid who got bullied. When everyone teased me, I grew nervous and speechless to the delight of the bullies. Back then, I wondered why everyone teased me. But now, teasing Shannon like this, I understand why. Damn.
What an asshole.
So much fun. George is not as nice as I remember. Wow.
I mean, listen, let's talk about the fact that his mother was abusing him.
We have no proof of that.
Have
you
you
neither confirm
watched,
or deny
have you
any
watched
abuse.
Chapter 1 of Episode 1? It's just straight George abuse from Eva.
I have no comment. I can neither confirm or deny or anything. But I can confirm that I can play with her emotions however I please.
That's good.
And I can have them all to myself.
Oh no.
Right now, I can't think of any greater pleasure. That's why I had to go easy on her. It's so romantic. It's not as though I want to make her feel embarrassed and upset, so I decided to be nice and change the subject. Best not to be too obstinate. When you finish your lunch, do you want to take a walk on the beach? Maybe the clouds will clear up and we'll get a beautiful view of the sea.
That's right. I want to go see it.
Yeah, let's do it. But that cake really does look delicious. Maybe I'll get one of those too.
You mustn't. If you eat cake after eating so much, you'll get fat. Looks like Hideyoshi-sama's blood is pretty thick in you.
Damn. Oh, damn. Shannon.
What a performance.
Oh my God.
What a performance. So you get chubby if you don't take care.
Shannon.
What a zinger. Hell yeah, girl.
Oh, I love you, Shannon.
I love how we're like, George, I can't believe you're making fun of her, and then Shannon says one thing and we're like, fucking get him.
Get him, Shannon. Oh, God. George is not taking this well. Shannon, you won't stop liking me if I get fat, will you? After all, I wouldn't stop liking you if you got fat. Oh my God.
I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, this is so awkward.
If you don't take good care of your body, it'll be bad for your health.
Oh. Mother warns me all the time, too. I wonder if I'll have to take up Tai Chi Quan.
Tai Chi Quan.
I nailed it. Or something like she does and get some exercise.
When going on a diet, it's better to start by rethinking your eating habits rather than just exercising all the time. Wrong! Get exercising.
Damn.
Also wrong. Next statement, also wrong. Apparently the exercise only helps if you're eating well first.
Alright. In other words, you're telling me to hold off on the cake, huh? Then I guess I'll just have to gaze at you while you stuff your cheeks with it, Shannon.
Oh!
Shannon-chan.
Ooh.
So a goo.
A whole cake is probably too much, but maybe just half of one would be okay.
Are they gonna split the cake? I hope so.
Yeah, it's really delicious. I think we're about to... Yep, we're splitting the cake.
Shannon cut her a cake and tried to move half to my dessert plate. I had no doubt that she wanted to share the delicious cake's flavor with me. Oh my god. However, I meanly pulled my plate away from her. She blinked in surprise! She couldn't seem to figure out if I was refusing the cake or not.
The blink in surprise is such like an anime thing.
This is so great.
Just like the...
It's like, yeah. So I winked, opened my mouth, and said, oh my god.
So that's what you really wanted?
Uh-huh.
She's such a pampered child, George Summer.
Oh god. Oh! That's way too close.
Hold on, let's go new images. No, fuck it.
I can't handle this.
Okay, say ah.
With a partly embarrassed, partly exasperated face, Shannon offered the cake to me with a fork. Oh my god. Jump. It tasted like a cheap chocolate cake you might find anywhere. And yet, it was exceptional.
Exceptional.
Exceptional. Because eating cake in such an embarrassing way, as if we were a couple of perfect fools, had been my dream for many years.
Many years.
It made this cake's flavor heavenly. If the earth is destined to end, I wouldn't have any regrets if it happened right now.
Fucking goddamn it, George.
If I were to be stabbed in the heart right now, or torn apart by demons, I wouldn't mind.
No.
It was such a moment of bliss.
Such a moment of bliss.
I love this.
God damn it.
Such a heartwarming scene. Oh, look,
Why?
they're on the beach.
Oh.
In their dress shoes.
And seagulls.
Yeah, there's seagulls crying. After that, we gathered shells, ran from waves, and enjoyed each other's company while walking along the beach. In the end, the clouds never parted. However, we both believed that the sea reflected in our eyes was a deep blue. Ah, oh, fuck. Ugh.
Somehow I'm so happy that it scares me.
You do see that from time to time. What is it you're afraid of?
I'm afraid of the fact that 18 people died, but they all seem to be just fine.
Pretty much.
I'm a servant of the Ishiramiya family. For someone like me to be walking like this with a member of the family, it just felt like it was too much for me.
Sure, it's fine. I'm also surprised I didn't just meet you yesterday or today, Shan-chan. We've known each other for years now. However, we can only meet during those family meetings that only happen a few times a year. Back then, I couldn't even imagine having this sort of relationship where I could spend time with you like this. It was the same for you too, right? She's so cute. Hmm?
Am I cute enough, Ben? Am I cute enough to
yet.
do this?
More kawaii!
Okay.
Get your cat ears and you make an outfit on.
Oh god. Hold on, let me just go get changed.
Put your bell around your neck, let's go. I'll take you on a walk. Alright, this is getting a bit weird. Please continue. I don't mean to scare you.
Get out of my house. I did imagine it. No, I mean, maybe I should call it kind of a daydream. I did think about what it'd be like being in a relationship with you, a boy who was always so gentlemanly and considerate, though it was only of a fantastic daydream.
Oh. Then we must have your believing heart to thank for our relationship. Magic dwells in the power of love.
God fucking damn
So I'm
it.
sure that magic brought us together.
God. You're right. Fuck you. I really do think it was magic.
Power of love. But you know, that's not actually true.
That's right, George.
As you kept looking more and more beautiful every year, you became a larger and larger presence in my mind too. If the same thing happened to you, then the fact that we're here today is simply an inevitable consequence, rather than something caused by magic or a miracle.
No. A miracle did happen. George Summer.
George Summer. She stopped walking down the beach.
Please tell me they're
He's
not
now
actually...
beyond the sea.
No, don't do this.
I'm so excited. A miracle?
Don't do this. No, it was magic.
I don't know what you're scared of.
It happened.
I was bewildered by that slightly mysterious phrase, which I sometimes heard her use.
Please, no.
Magic, you say?
Please. Yes, magic. Don't do it. I doubt you'd believe me if I explained, so I won't.
You're so scared.
Please don't.
I don't know what you're scared of.
But this bit of magic definitely had the power to grant a miracle that brought us together. Please don't do it.
Are you talking about some kind of
Please
ritual?
don't do it. Yeah. You might call it something like that. Except that it really was magic, not just some ritual. Please, no!
I'm scared now. Maybe it's all girls, such as Shannon, who tend to treat encounters
Please
as
don't do it.
miracles or coincidences. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl is 70% hard work to try and make her like you, 20% courage, and 10% coincidence. The part that means everything to her, is a much smaller factor in my mind.
Please don't do it.
I don't know what you're so scared of. I don't even know.
You know exactly what I'm scared of.
I don't even know what it is. Maybe that way of thinking itself is calculating and typical of man. That's a bit sexist.
Just, please.
But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve all kinds of magic.
Oh, okay, it looks like we might have escaped.
We're in the clear.
We might have escaped.
To my mind, there were lots of coincidences, compromises, and expended effort on both sides before we gained the relationship we have today.
This music is very disconcerting.
At the combination of all that, I love this track. We get to spend this joyful time together.
It's a bit better. It's not quite as creepy as the opening chord.
No. This is a beautiful song. It's from the heart. And if she wants to call that magic, I've got no objections to her choice of words.
Stop it, Genji.
Oh, so I'll stand up for that magic. You're right. If the same fate were repeated 100 times, maybe you and I could get into a relationship like this only one of those times.
Oh no, they might do
it. In the other instances, even though we'd be aware of each other, maybe we would have only maintained a reserved relationship after all this time. From the perspective of those other me's and you's, you and I are undoubtedly in a miraculous relationship right now.
God, fucking this dialogue.
It's great.
That's not what I meant. It really was magic. No matter how often you tell men something like this, they'll never believe it. Kanan-kun didn't believe me at all either.
I believe you. I'd hate for the magic to fade away because I didn't believe in it.
George-sama.
In a small voice, I apologized for saying something that trivialized her magic. Shannon seemed to be glad to hear me say that. After all, if two people believe in the magic of love, it becomes eternal.
I'm still like, I am on the edge of my seat, like nearly scared about what they might do to me here.
Oh, that's right. I was wondering if you'd be willing to agree to a little whim of mine.
Please don't. Yes? What is it?
You call me George-sama, right? It's not that I dislike it, but would you consider not calling me that anymore? Of course, you had to keep up your appearance with the Oshumiya family, so I wouldn't force you to do so during your everyday routine on Rokenjima. But when we're alone, I'd rather you didn't call me that. Yeah, let's make that a rule.
A rule? What would happen if I violated that rule?
Oh, you know what would happen, girl.
Stop it.
Maybe we should have some kind of punishment game if you break the rule. Yes, what should it be? Want to hear?
No.
Felix Chan.
No, I don't want to hear. See, you didn't even have to read that shit.
I'll have to think about what it should be.
Okay. George-san.
Oh!
Oh!
Yeah. I love the way that sounds.
Ooh.
I'm so happy. Shannon.
I also have another name.
Here it is.
Here it is. It's Seo.
There you go. I see. It was gonna be fair after all. I'll follow it too, and from now on, I'll call you Seo. Okay. Seo?
Yes.
I held her shoulder and drew her close. When I forcefully pulled her delicate body towards me, she dove into my chest like a doll. As I held her head in my arms, we both looked at the horizon. What a deep blue sea. I'm so happy we got to look at the sea, just the two of us.
Me too. I'm so glad to have a chance to look at this deep blue sea with you.
As we gazed at the grey sea, and a light rain began to sprinkle down, we kept listening to each other's heartbeats.
We haven't had any tips yet, have we?
No. No tips. Though it might be worth looking at them in a second. Just after this.
Ooh.
The sound of waves flows into my ears. No, it's the sound of an enraged sea. My body, bathed in painfully cold splashes, does not allow me to forget. I think this is you. No, actually, I'm gonna take this.
Just keep going.
It won't let me forget the memories of the day and my old fate was broken and smashed. Once tomorrows were literally like looking into a mirror. All I ever saw there was the person I already was. Tomorrow was absolutely no different from today. That was my old fate. But then for the first time, I saw a different fate beyond the mirror. The witch whispers to me.
Oh, goodness.
She tempts me to take a bite out of the fruit of knowledge. She torments me, saying I'll be furniture as long as I stay in God's paradise. So I decided to choose the path of knowing love and tried to become a person. Those days were like sweet honey. But at the time, I didn't realize that they'd be the start of a new kind of suffering. I've arrived at a small island on a motorboat I've only just learned how to use. Now this can hardly be called a small island. It's little more than a rock jutting out of the water. On this rock is a torii and a small shrine. It was probably built to worship the guardian deity of Rokkenjima. Even though I don't know exactly what it signifies, I know it has to be something holy.
This is the one we passed at the start that had been struck by lightning, right?
Yes. Even in a place like this, I've got to take just one more look around to see if there's anyone who might get mad at me for coming. I see nothing but the stormy ocean, Nijima looming in the distance, and the waves breaking against Rokkenjima's steep cliffside. Oh, shit. I ready myself, timidly approach the small shrine, and take the mirror that lies there as an offering. The mirror looks old, cloudy, and dirty. That would probably make any normal mirror seem horribly cheap. However, since the mirror has been placed in this small shrine, its appearance seems to give some sort of divine quality to it. And there's one thing I can tell. This is no simple mirror. It may seem like an old, battered mirror to a non-believer like myself, but it has a great significance. Is it really okay to break this after being captivated by honeyed words? No, this really isn't a mirror. This is a life I couldn't escape until today, my fate. I'll break it. I'll smash it and seize the life that lies beyond this mirror. If I don't smash it, my life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever. Nothing will ever change in the slightest. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite of the fruit of knowledge. Or maybe I've already tasted of that fruit. After all, I've already experienced those maddening emotions. Just as Adam and Eve felt compelled to pluck their fig leaves, I can no longer go on without breaking this mirror. I've struggled with conflicting emotions for many days before this moment. Inside my heart, the virtuous part of me kept on fighting the part that sides with the witch. And now here I am. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? There's only one thing I know. To obtain something, you must be ready to lose something. Cowards who don't risk anything, who never try to change anything, will never be given the key that opens the path to a new future. That key is already in my hands. And that key is to break this. To smash it. Is there any other effort I can make as furniture imprisoned in Rokkenjima? No. This is the only way for me. Come, have courage. I'll free myself from being mere furniture, and by accepting a new kind of suffering, I'll become human. This is surely a small, yet large trial I must impose on myself. Come on, smash it. I'll smash to pieces the eternally unchanging fate that imprisons me. I raise the mirror high. I think back on the days of conflict that came before, and, finishing my reflections in the blink of an eye, I throw it down. Thunder roars, crying out against me for my outrageous act. It truly is the hatred of angels trying to banish me from eternal paradise. I look down at the mirror tumbling at my feet, broken in 2 equal parts, and after making sure I've accomplished my task, I scream up at the raging skies. I've kept my promise. Now, it's your turn to keep yours, right? Thunder roars once more. I've already been banished from paradise, so I'll have to struggle on my own if I want to live. The witch told me. That is the single element of this world. To lose it means losing the world. Like how a canteen with a hole in the bottom can't be filled, no matter how much water you pump into it. I've kept my promise. Now it's your turn to keep yours. Please grant my wish. Beatrice-sama!
Who the fuck is this? So it was the same one as last time?
It was the same OP.
I'm assuming we're doing the anime thing where the first, like, half of the season has one OP and then the second has a different one?
I don't know. I guess I can neither confirm or deny the existence of multiple OPs. Now, I'm not sure who this is, but I think you should probably take this. I have a strong suspicion.
My mind wandered. Back to the days when I could barely imagine the happiness I have now. I was a middle schooler at the time. A normal girl who thought about love as much as you'd expect of someone at that age. But in truth, it was wrong of me to have that dream. After all, I am furniture. Furniture is nothing more than a tool, not a human. As a person less than human, simply receiving an education was an enormous blessing. So in reality, even thinking about falling in love was more than I deserved. The Ashuramiya family conference was a customary event held every October, but relatives sometimes visited at other times. Of course, they didn't come just to drink tea. On this day, Ava's family was visiting the head family on Rekenjima. The 3 members of Krause's family and the 3 members of Ava's family had gathered in the parlor, and were having a friendly chat about recent events. Genji had supposedly told Kinzo of Ava's family's arrival, but he still hadn't come down. He was probably immersed in his research and couldn't spare the time. This often happened, so the others waited patiently for their fickle father to arrive.
Oh.
Promising. Make sure you work hard under your father, building the skills you'll need if you want to lend him a hand soon.
Thank you very much. I've learned countless precious things from the many experienced people father's introduced me to. And these were all things I could never have learned in school. When you're in school, it's not like math and language you're learning. What they're really teaching you is the right outlook and attitude for learning more. Once you've got that base, you can finally start a long period of study that'll last your entire life. People who don't get this end up spending their whole lives as fools who never learn. Just getting full marks in math and language won't do you any good at your company.
Indeed, that is exactly right. Hideyoshi-san, your style of education never fails to impress.
George isn't quite a full man yet. He'd better always keep that in mind and embrace his studies.
Stop it, dear. George is always giving it his all. Right?
Truly admirable. I wish our Jessica would learn from him.
Oh, sheesh. Are you still holding a grudge about that test score?
Comrade Mom.
I'm studying for the tests the best I can. At least don't say it here. Pissing me off.
Damn.
Once people started praising George for his diligence, the conversation usually turned to Jessica, who hated studying. Jessica made an openly displeased face as though she'd known this would happen. My. Schoolwork aside, it seems Jessica had better learn to choose her words a little more gracefully. I am proper for the single daughter who bears the weight of the Ashuramiya family crest. Come now, she's quite appealing in her own way, isn't she?
Ava, please.
Times change. The time when we had to act all modest to entertain men ended long ago. That's right. I knew you'd understand, Aunt Eva.
Huh. My headache is truly trying today. Are you okay? Natsui, you're looking a bit pale. Thank you, I'm fine. Still, time really has flown. It feels just like just yesterday when you would run around half naked by the beach and come back soaked.
Wasn't your Jessica-chan the same? And now she's a lady who fusses over how to put on makeup. I can read, I swear.
Yeah.
I see you focused on your eyebrows. You look really cute today.
Damn.
Thank you very much.
She's such a cool aunt, Ava. She's just such a lovely lady.
I love how you say that with the, trill going in the background.
Look,
that was really creepy.
She's such a cool aunt. Dear.
No one noticed I was a bit unsure of myself. A full smile rose to Jessica's face as the results of her own studies were finally appreciated. Ava smiled back in the same way. Then she turned that smile towards Natsui. Come on, Natsui-ne-san. You must take notice of small changes in your own child. Poor Jessica-chan. You probably wanted your mother to notice first, didn't you? No problem. That person never notices anything.
Oh!
comrade person.
Straight through the heart.
And you're to blame.
Oh my god.
Jessica, I cannot condone you speaking of your mother in such a fashion. Apologize.
Later, I will speak to you at length about your language.
If you don't want kids getting in your way, just say so. I'm gonna take a step outside.
Damn.
It's getting stuffy in here.
Jessica!
Jessica was still at an age where tests and entrance exams were pretty nerve-wracking. Recently, she'd clashed often with her mother, who was enthusiastic about her education.
It's an understatement. Oh my god.
Excuse me. Yeah. Jessica, who was trying to leave the parlor in a bad mood, bumped into Shannon, who was pushing a serving cart filled with tea. Comrade Shannon, no need to worry about my tea. I'm just gonna go wander around the garden. Milady?
Shannon, the tea is getting cold. Serve it quickly.
My apologies. Shannon hadn't actually done anything wrong. But Natsui, who felt like something shameful to herself had been shown, lashed out at her emotionally. This was something that often happened in the Ashiramiya family. It seemed Shannon wasn't strong-willed enough to just accept it and move on. She shrank back and cowered while serving the tea. She had the unfortunate habit of making more mistakes when she cowered. Her pitiful appearance ruined the peaceful atmosphere that had existed a moment before. It wasn't really Shannon's fault, but she thought that she might be the source and felt a pressure on her chest. Her shaking fingers made the utensils clang, and you couldn't have called it graceful, not even just to be polite. The more pitiful she appeared, the greater the silence grew. The more irritated Natsui looked, and the more Shannon cowered. Shannon's thin neck felt like it was being suffocated and choked by the Reaper known as stress. You can't just throw around things like Reaper in this book.
Reaper and knife and pink. It's just too much.
At that time, George spoke brightly, blowing away the stiff atmosphere.
This smells nice. What kind of black tea is it?
This is...
No, don't say it. I'll guess. It's a very distinctive smell, so I probably know it. Is it Earl Grey?
I think it probably is. Probably.
Just go along with it.
You gotta know.
Just go along with it.
You gotta know your shit, Shannon. Come on.
Shannon, please. Yeah, I'll bet it's Earl Grey. When you get back to the kitchen, check the tin.
Oh, George, you know a lot about black tea, don't you?
One of the company presidents who's looked after me was very knowledgeable about black tea. I managed to pick up a little while listening to him discuss the subject.
Hold on. Who else liked black tea in the story?
No one? No one on... what? I don't know who you could possibly be referring to.
Who I could possibly be referring to?
Who could you be referring to?
I don't know, you're stroking the pipe there.
I just tapped the pipe a little bit.
Just
and you think that's some kind of hint?
No.
You're crazy. You're looking for details on that.
So what we've learned is that Beatrice works at Hideyoshi's company.
I'm just saying, George knows black tea and Beatrice loves black tea. I had nothing else to say about that.
So Hideyoshi is the murderer.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, funnily enough. Oh yeah, the president of Okanoki Foods. Yep, that sort of trivia is that guy's specialty.
That guy? Names of black teas often refer to the places they're made, right? So did this come from a place with that name?
From what I've heard, there was a person called Earl Grey in England long ago and it was named after him. Furthermore, this distinctive smell doesn't come from tea leaves, but from a fruit called bergamot.
Neither have I.
Which is a relative of the mandarin orange. Is that so? I never knew that. Learning things like that makes tea taste all the more delicious. Where's Goto when you need him? Same thing goes for alcohol and cigarettes. Luxury items have a taste of romance. Knowing stuff like this deepens the taste.
It's the same as reading the list of benefits on a medicine bottle. No, that's really nice, Helen. You should try reading the explanation on your favorite headache medicine someday.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Ava, please.
Fucking Ava, back at it again.
She's so good. You motherfucker.
That's a wonderful idea. Try it tonight.
Oh. Yes, I'll do so. Throttle. Shannon, try
Where's
opening
that rifle?
Where's that sawed-off rifle? Shannon, try opening that pot. You should find some dried bergamot mixed in with the tea leaves.
Ah, yes. It's in there. Something like dried orange peel is mixed in.
Yes, that's probably bergamot. The main ingredient is Earl Grey's scent. The scent is vivid, so you might expect the taste to be intense, but it's still gentle and easy to drink. If you make it with milk, the scent should become more mild, which works pretty great. If there's anything left in the pot after you poured for everyone, you really should try drinking it with milk.
Yes. Thank you very much. George gave her a small wink.
Wink.
I'm imagining, like, the stage wink.
Like leans in, past everyone else in the middle of the circle, and just winks. Yep.
Shannon finally realized that George had kind-heartedly swept aside the tense atmosphere in the room. And he had done it for the sake of Shannon herself, a cowering servant. The Shiramia family did not pamper their servants. Any display of awkwardness would be harshly punished. So it was rare for them to be given such a helping hand like this. Thanks to George's kindness, Shannon managed to regain control of herself and finish serving tea without further incident.
Yay.
As long as she stayed calm, she could carry out her work elegantly and flawlessly.
Thank God.
By the time the black tea was laid out on the table and its elegant scent filled the room, the atmosphere had completely returned to its former peaceful mood, and everyone praised George's knowledge. Shannon wanted to thank him for saving her, but it didn't look like she would get the chance. So she decided to at least thank him inside her heart, praying to God that George would hear it as she pushed the serving cart away. I'm so fucking confused right now.
You are?
I have no
We're
idea.
just learning about tea. I don't see what it is. Also, I should take over as narrator from this point, I think.
George Nisan always lends a helping hand at times like that. By changing the topic or something.
Shannon and Jessica were in the rose garden. Jessica still hadn't returned to the parlor after getting in a fight with her mother and was nonchalantly killing time here.
When I think back on it, I get the feeling this wasn't the first time he's helped me like that.
Whenever I made a oh my god. It is totally you narrating this scene, I'm sorry.
Whenever I made a careless mistake around George, and George was around, I'm pretty sure he'd always naturally smooth things over and restore harmony. Maybe it wasn't something as direct as picking up a fork that had been dropped, but that was his way of caring. Even servants have their pride. They want to fix their own mistakes by making
more mistakes, yes.
Oh goodness, I can read. If a guest lends them a hand, they'll lose face. He's really good at reading between the lines when stuff like that happens. Well, I guess it's kind of an art to him. That guy's more of a show-off than he looks.
What an asshole. What asshole.
That's not true. I think he's a really wonderful person. The fucking winky face. Shannon, you haven't fallen in love with George Nisan, have you? For once, Shannon had disagreed with Jessica in a slightly forceful tone, which immediately caught Jessica's attention. No, that's not, I think... Come to think of it, I've hardly heard any stories about George Nisan in love. I think I remember hearing him say that family-oriented girls weren't his type, didn't I?
Were his type, but yes.
Were his type. Sweet, that fits you perfectly, Shannon. You and your immense family. It does? How could I'm not suitable for such a thing?
Shannon, oh my god.
Not suitable? Like hell you aren't. You've known him so long, you're practically a childhood friend. They say that when you start from a natural relationship where you don't think about the other member of the opposite sex, things start to move pretty fast once you finally start thinking about it. There's no doubt. Jessica loved teen magazines with this kind of story, and she was always getting excited talking about that kind of thing with her friends. She was very quick to pick up on love stories like this. So this wasn't the first time Shannon had been exposed to this kind of story. But this certainly was the first time she'd started thinking of George as a member of the opposite sex. She was furniture, while George was an honored guest and a member of the Shiramia family. Until now, she'd assumed that even imagining any deeper relationship with him would be impermissible. So she hadn't thought of it. Since it was someone else's problem, Jessica poked fun at it, seeming to enjoy herself. It was all Shannon could do to hide her blushing cheeks. If George were to appear at a time like that, she'd have no chance of keeping her cool. They saw George come out from the entrance of the mansion. It looked as though he'd seen them as well. He headed over, waving his hand. Shannon had to frantically try and regain her ordinary composure before George reached them.
Grandfather finally came down.
What?
Now they're having an adult discussion, so they chase me out.
What?
Yeah. Kinzo doesn't want to see George for some reason. So. What?
I mean, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, but the fact that you say that makes me very interested.
I'm gonna confirm or deny anything.
Escaping then was the right choice. It'd be better to kiss the angel of death and look at grandfather's face.
What if they're the same thing?
Oh shit, Kinzo is the killer. Confirmed.
This is you.
You shouldn't speak that way. But you know, I think grandfather might think of us as angels of death. After all, we came here to talk about borrowing money for business reasons.
That's right, this wasn't the customary annual October family conference. Ava's family had visited to apply for a business loan from the head family. Kinzo had vast resources and he lent those out to his children. Of course, they didn't borrow money because they were living in poverty. How could they expand their business with the vast sums they wanted to borrow? How much interest would be attached and how long would they have to repay it? This wasn't the sort of loan designed for the poor.
Damn.
It was a loan for those who were on the offensive. Kinzo strictly judged whether it would be worth lending out his fortune, and afterwards he strictly oversaw its use. So Rakenjima would sometimes play host to this spectacle where relatives visited and described their businesses to Kinzo. To the parents, these meetings burdened them with the strain of having to move a vast amount of money. But to Jessica, who lived on this isolated island called Rakenjima, it was a precious opportunity to meet up with her cousins. So being able to talk with the occasional guests such as George like this immediately cured the bad mood she'd gotten from that fight with her mother.
My family is totally stingy too. They've probably got money to spare, so why not lend it out graciously? Comrade Dad and Comrade Grandfather will probably get pig-headed and act all important.
It's natural to be prudent when lending money. Of course, my father will use what he borrows to expand his business, and he came with a plan that promises a solid probability of repayment. Everything else is left up to the presentation. But I really wish I could watch from the corner and learn. Mother chased me out. I'm a little let down.
It seems the Masters still tends to scold Crass Summer and Ava Summer as if they were kids. I'm sure she didn't want to let her son see that. As Shannon hung her head, she thought back on a scene familiar to those who worked in the mansion. Even Crass, who acted haughtily towards his siblings, was still treated like a child by Kinzo. Shannon herself had often seen Kinzo slap Crass and tell him to sit up straight. It was probably very embarrassing to be coerced like that at his age. Taking care to avoid being present at times like that was one of the important responsibilities held by the servants working here. However, the fact Shannon had ended up witnessing such a scene meant that she'd messed up at least once in the past.
Yes, I imagine so. Maybe figuring that out and staying away is part of a child's duty. That aside, the flowers in this garden are truly splendid this year.
Speaking of which, haven't told us the date yet, have they?
I don't think so, no. Why?
Because when we started Chapter 1 and the second part of Chapter 1, or Episode 1 rather.
Yeah, it said it pretty quickly after the OP happened.
It said it before and after.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we don't know exact date, but we know that it's many years after, like, Shannon and George have been in a relationship. But I don't know if this is the year of... Actually, we don't know, do we?
It doesn't even seem like it is necessarily many years. There hasn't been any mention of ages or numbers.
Maybe we'll find out.
The only thing that we have as a reference in time right now is the fact that Jessica is in the middle of exams, which is the least fucking useless clue. Sorry, the most useless clue we could have possibly gotten.
I don't know. Hopefully they'll tell us at some point. They probably keep you in mystery for some reason.
For the sake of mystery.
Yeah. It's a mystery novel after all.
George stretched as he said that.
God damn you.
And he smoothly changed the subject away from one that was a little too gloomy. This time Shannon noticed it too. This person, George, could sensitively figure out the situation and always change the subject to something harmonious out of kindness. It was so smooth that Shannon hadn't noticed until today. Today Shannon really had to admire the way George did that. Of the boys close to Shannon's age that she'd known, nearly all had been classmates during her period of mandatory education. But they'd all been young and none had possessed the composure George had. Mere moments ago, he'd just been another guest. But right now, she couldn't help but think of him as something more. However, such thoughts were mere distractions from her work as a servant. Shannon tried to chase them away with a small shake of her head. I don't know who this is.
Jessica, I think.
What's up?
No, it's nothing. Shall I make some more tea?
Some Earl Grey.
I will prepare some more of that Earl Grey.
Yes.
Oh wow, amazing.
So you remember the name of that tea? I'm glad.
Thank you for your concern back then. Shannon was finally able to put her gratitude into words. If you wrote it out, it wouldn't be very long. But Shannon had needed a little spark of courage to say it out loud. But George had played dumb.
What do you mean? I don't remember doing anything I should be thankful.
He seemed to be playing the gentleman in his own way, letting her know he wasn't doing it out of a desire for gratitude. George's response seemed to be more or less exactly what Jessica had predicted. She couldn't help but burst out laughing.
See? Isn't he a bit of a show-off at times like this?
What kind of times?
No.
Oh my god.
That's not... Jessica poked fun at Shannon as the latter remained silent, red-faced. George didn't know the details, but he naturally joined in, laughing the same way. The three of them lazily walked around the garden, catching up on recent events. George, as the oldest cousin, talked about his life experiences. Jessica talked about recent life on Rekenjima, and Shannon talked about her recent work. They kept going on about these trivial things. Even when Shannon heard the others talk about deeply interesting things, she never felt any particular interest in the actual content of their stories. She was nothing more than a servant, and she had no intention of delving into her master's lives. She simply wanted them to enjoy their time speaking with her. Okay, it's seriously starting to bother me. Do we have its system, right?
What are you doing?
Is all these tips?
Everyone's here.
All these tips are normal.
No one's dead. I don't think there are any tips right now. I mean, if you click on the tips, I'm sure it'll be empty. Oh no, there's the epitaph.
Okay.
So in case you want to look at that, in case you want to figure anything out.
I didn't want to get to the first, pop-up for the tips menu
and there would be stuff?
Not having seen anything here.
No, it's fine. Everything is exactly the way it was before anyone died.
Fuck, that sound effect.
It's great.
I had completely forgotten.
The thing is, I'm so used to hearing it, I've conditioned it out of my ear stream.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's so good. Anyway.
And would only pretend to listen intently and not at the right moments. For some reason, the things that George talked about today seemed to catch her interest powerfully. Even the things she'd normally ignore felt like they contained a trace of kindness behind the words. For some reason, she wanted to know more things about George, no matter how trivial. So she stared fixedly at him. Though she thought that as far as looks went, this Yoshirimi of George was probably about average and didn't stick out in any particular way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, boy.
He's totally average.
Fucking so average.
I want to hang out with him. Oh my god.
And had a deep prudence which allowed him to understand people's hearts and show concern.
Oh.
But she'd never noticed these things before now. She may not have met him many times, but she'd known his face for many years. Even so, she hadn't noticed one once until now. Shannon, embarrassed by her own obliviousness, blushed. So we are clearly back in time right now.
From the aquarium date, you think?
Yes.
At least from the aquarium date.
Also, if we're assuming that in the current fiction, that the whole murder thing actually happened, then we are probably before that as well. Because she's like, oh, Shannon's just noticing, but he proposed to her in
yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes, on the night of the murder, before she was killed, she was proposed to. She had the ring on her finger. Yeah. So this is clearly before that. Unless, of course, we're dealing with one of those oh, he didn't propose to her, he proposed to her next year.
That would be extremely frustrating. Because then we are also assuming that the events preceding the murders were... Because it was established that they had a relationship before proposing.
Yes, they did.
So it would just be their entire relationship before the murders didn't exist, and this is the new plot line.
It is interesting that we saw in the first episode the culmination of their relationship, sort of, the proposal.
Yeah.
And now we're getting the background after that, which is a bit weird. I think it's interesting.
I mean, listen, I've been thinking about Natsui's rifle, by which I mean...
What? What do you mean by which you mean? What does that mean? I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Where is this going?
What? Chekhov's gun, except in this case it's Natsui's rifle. Alright? So I've been thinking about the idea of Natsui's rifle.
Okay.
And basically, if we're back here in time, clearly some of the motive or, possibilities that are established here.
You
right?
think so?
I mean...
We don't know. That's the thing.
We don't know what.
You can falsificate that, of course.
We don't know what, but I am 100% certain that that is the case.
Okay. Sure.
Because if not, why the fuck are we here?
I don't know. Maybe we're just here to like watch two lovebirds hanging out
Ben,
and have their relationship blossom.
Ben, this is fucking Umineko.
I don't know. Sometimes a gravestone is just a gravestone. All right, that's a saying, right? That's a thing.
I feel like that's gonna pop up at some point, and I'm gonna be like, "You
I can't
motherfucker."
wait. I'm sure it's fine.
George, perhaps thinking that Shannon would listen and tell it intently to his stories, had kept talking happily and at length about these things he'd done and seen. But Jessica didn't miss that slight change in Shannon. So she decided she'd change the conversation to the topic she was sure Shannon was most interested in.
Oh yeah, come to think of it, Comrade George Nissan, have you finally gotten a girlfriend or what?
Where did that come from? Ooh.
Normally that reaction should have been answer enough.
Ooh.
But for some reason, as she was now, Shannon wouldn't be able to understand it unless he said it clearly. George Summer is very nice, so I'm sure he's very popular.
Ah! Well,
Quit it, Shannon. Isn't cornering him like that actually pretty mean?
I wasn't trying to be mean.
Well, I'm flattered that you have that mistaken impression of me, but unfortunately I still haven't had a relationship with any particular girl. After all, my looks are below average, as you can see.
As you can see. As Shannon did astutely observe.
He's only average,
Yeah.
and I can't speak tactfully in a way that can entertain a girl.
I don't think that's true. I think a man's charm is decided by something that can't be measured by his appearance.
Oh my god.
That's why, I think you might be considered a very attractive man, George Summer.
I love that she's not like, no, you're super hot. She's like, your appearance isn't as important as,
Shannon was being uncharacteristically verbose.
Shannon.
She hardly ever spoke at such length. George seemed fairly pleased to hear someone applaud his charm like this, but he was a little surprised at this sudden high praise.
Oh god.
Jessica, now sure her guess was spot on, appeared to be holding back laughter, barely holding back laughter.
Thank you, Shannon-chan. I hope I do bump into a girl who's generous enough to feel attracted to me before too long. Wink.
Yes, I'm sure you'll run into one.
Wink.
I'm sure there's at least one, no, lots of girls who will recognize your real charm.
Wink.
She probably wanted to say that there was at least one girl very close to him. It's Jessica, isn't it? Jessica! Shannon avoided saying that much, drawing a final line as a servant.
Really? I guess I'm kind of embarrassed.
Look at the squiggles under his glasses.
Can we look at the new art for this particular? I want to see if it's just as entertaining. Oh, his glasses are all fogged up. Oh my god. Great. I'm kind of embarrassed.
He'd probably never been praised this heavily by a girl before.
Oh my god.
George's face turned just as bright red as Shannon's. And she watched the two of them. As she watched the two of them, Jessica giggled sadistically.
Well, I'm sure you'll eventually bump into a wonderful partner, George Nissan, but I doubt you'll be able to properly escort your partner as you are now, right? Looks like you're diligent, but you've completely abandoned your study of that.
So, sorry about that. I'll start studying that bit by bit.
And how do you plan to do all that by yourself? Are you gonna watch romance movies or something? Or are you going to learn from Uncle Hideyoshi?
I mean, maybe? Well, you're acting pretty triumphant. Men are no match for girls when it comes to this sort of thing.
Normally when George and Jessica got together, their parents would say, George is diligent and admirable, and Jessica is lazy and rude. So it's probably unbearable fun for Jessica to have their roles finally reversed.
Jessica understands the language of the heart.
I'm now beginning to see why you were so okay with me doing the deep Russian voice for Jessica.
I'm so excited for this. This is fantastic.
George realized this as well, and fuck!
Hey! You're too excited, you hit the button.
Stop! Stop!
Oh my god.
George realized this as well, so he resigned himself to being the one getting teased for one. So, next.
So, George Nissan, as long as you're okay with it, why not practice a bit with Shannon? It'll be your job to keep Shannon entertained all day long on a date.
As a practice date.
Well, what do you think?
What do you... Milady?
Oh my god.
When she heard Jessica's audacious plan, Shannon's face turned bright red with a poof, and a donut of smoke started to rise from her head.
It's so anime.
Oh, God.
That's a very tempting plan, but I wouldn't want to burden Shannon. It'd just end up wasting one of her precious days off, wouldn't it? I'd be butting in on that sacred time that she should be spending alone with someone she really likes. I couldn't do something so boorish. George, please.
I also don't have a person I have feelings for or anything, so there's no need to hold back for my sake. Shannon's blood had all rushed to her head, and it looked like she didn't know what she was babbling about. Jessica, who knew how Shannon normally was, seemed to be finding this hilarious. She couldn't hide her cackling laughter anymore. Beatrice confirmed!
What? Is that true? I can't believe a cute girl like you would be single, Shannon-chan.
I am a servant, so I don't have any relationship with boys.
Which means that if Shannon ever wants a chance at getting herself a wonderful guy, she needs practice with relationships too, right?
Oh boy.
So you both want the same thing. Sweet, it'll be perfect.
Jessica irresponsibly cheered the two of them on.
I like that the narrator admits it.
By now, even George was hanging his head and turning red. George, I've been calling you for a while now. Didn't you hear me? When Ava appeared in what was already an embarrassing situation, both of them got even more flustered.
Oh God.
Jessica watched and laughed loudly.
Mother, sorry, I was so engrossed in our conversation, I didn't notice.
Oh, Ava-sama, you have my deepest apologies. Looks like you young kids are getting really fired up together. You're all about that age. Oh, I know how kids your age can talk about that sort of thing forever.
Come on, you're still young yourself, Aunt Ava. Please tell us how you and Uncle Hideyoshi met.
Oh my, there's no way I could say that. You all really are so young.
Now I want to know what it was. So what is it, Mother? You called because you wanted something, right?
Your father and the rest have finished talking. We're going to talk to Grandfather about you, so come on.
About me? What could that be?
The same thing you were all talking about just now. You know what I mean, right?
Oh, that. That isn't really something we need to talk to Grandfather about, right?
What's going on? Wait, George-san, are you getting married?
Congratulations!
No. Didn't I just say I didn't have a particular woman I was interested in?
That isn't something to brag about, is it? Good grief.
Eva smiled bitterly, looking a little exasperated. Oh, I get it. George-san, it's one of those, right? A marriage meeting.
Nice.
A marriage meeting, you say?
Oh yeah.
Surely as a man, George wanted to find a partner by himself and bring her home with him. So it seemed he thought it a bit pathetic to meet his partner for the first time in a marriage meeting arranged by his parents.
Shouldn't marriage meetings be done at a more mature age? I still don't feel like I've become a fully fledged adult.
Of course, we have no desire to rush into an immediate engagement or marriage, right? There's nothing wrong with deepening your friendship first and then having her move to our family register, and after you've gotten older and settled down.
Damn.
Judging by Eva's forceful attitude and George's non-committal one, the others could catch a glimpse of the story behind this marriage meeting. They didn't know who George was supposed to be meeting, but it was surely someone who would profit Ava's family in a business sense. The very fact they'd be satisfied with a mere engagement to deepen the relationship between the two families rather than an immediate marriage made it feel almost like a political maneuver. Almost.
Definitely not a political maneuver.
You see, marriage isn't something you should enter into only after you start liking someone. You marry first and then you adjust. If you marry based purely on emotions, you'll always end up regretting it.
Damn.
There's certainly nothing wrong with choosing a person with a secure background for your partner in life and then developing your affection later.
Ava is very practical, isn't she?
I mean, have you seen the rest of the family?
And Ava, isn't that kinda rude to Uncle Hideyoshi?
I love that man. I want to always be with him and to live my life by his side. Eva-sama, that's wonderful. Truly splendid. Thank you. But we built up those feelings while we were husband and wife, you see? And I believe that in the future we will be much, much closer than we are now. I think that's what's best for a married couple.
Still, I don't think you can use that to argue that it's okay to marry someone you don't even like.
But it doesn't mean that it's okay to marry anyone as long as you like them. It only takes an instant to get married, but your life as a married couple will last a long, long time after that. So you should search with prudence and avoid making decisions based on momentary emotions. Don't you think a matter like this would be better handled by us rather than by a person lacking in life experience such as yourself? Damn.
Yeah, that may be true, but don't say that.
I'm proud of you, my only son. You've grown magnificently, and I'm sure you'll do us proud no matter where you go. And now that Batlacon has left the family register, your father's only male grandchild, carrying his blood.
So yeah, this is definitely before...
This is before he comes back and, shows up.
We must prudently choose a fitting partner for you.
As everyone related to the Ashiramiya family knew, Ava adored George immensely. But that didn't mean that she had pampered him. She'd been strict with him and had raised him into a wonderful boy who wouldn't betray her expectations. That was why she treasured him so.
Your partner certainly won't be selected based off your parents' profit and loss. I'll bring you a suitable and truly wonderful woman. At this moment, your immaturity might make this seem unpleasant to you. But if you're going to take my advice on anything, listen to me now. Have I ever failed to act in your best interest?
No, you haven't.
That's enough for now. So let's go. We're keeping father waiting. Hurry to the mansion.
Well, sorry, you two. See you later. Oh, God.
George bowed to the two of them, and after bowing once more to Shannon, he dashed off to the mansion.
What a good relationship these two have.
I'll be going with him. Forgive me for interrupting such an entertaining conversation, Shannon-chan.
No. Please don't worry about it. Come on, Shannon. Let's go.
Yes. It's okay. I'm sure you'll meet someone wonderful soon too, Jessica-chan. A wonderful person suitable for you.
And fuck you, Shannon. So if he's at the same level as me, haha, you mean guy with shit grades?
Damn.
That kinda pisses me off.
And of course, you too, Shannon-chan.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm sure that a wonderful man suitable for you will appear.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
She's not terrible.
As Ava giggled and smiled, she approached Shannon's ear with a hand over her mouth as though she was trying to tell her a secret.
Shannon.
Huh?
Was that just like a pop in the left ear?
I don't know.
Ooh. I'm sure you'll find a perfect match for a lowly servant like yourself. Have you forgotten to be grateful for your education? Know your place? That's not what I meant. George is the eldest grandson carrying father's blood. He's a person who may bear the burden of the Ashiramiya family someday in the future. To answer to that expectation, he has studied tirelessly, entered a wonderful college, and is getting wonderful grades. Did you really think you could snatch George away, you uneducated, incompetent, unqualified, uncultured servant?
Those malicious words all poured into Shannon's ear without spilling a drop. To Shannon, it was like cold water was being poured in there.
I didn't mean...
This was all whispered to Shannon in secret, and with the same smile as before. Jessica, who could only see Ava's expression, didn't think it was anything other than Ava telling Shannon some embarrassing story about love. When their secret conversation ended, Ava patted Shannon's shoulders as though she was urging her on.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a perfect match for a partner, right? Okay, Jessica-chan, see you later.
Yeah, see you later, and make sure you tell me about you and Uncle Hideyoshi next time.
No way.
Ava laughed loudly and headed back to the entrance hall. Behind Jessica, who was cheerfully waving her hand, Shannon reflected very, very deeply on those words of Ava's about knowing her place.
That was fucking brutal.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. Well,
I don't know who this is.
This is
Shannon?
This is you. Yeah, we're continuing with Shannon.
It's time for me to take a serious look at how full of myself I've been acting. I forgot. I'm furniture. Furniture isn't human. So I am a being who must feel gratitude for even being treated like a human. And I am not permitted to wish anything more. People sometimes develop affection for furniture they're used to using, but that is an emotion on the human side, and the furniture has no right to hope for such a thing. It's enough that the furniture serves simply with honesty day after day. That feeling I got when talking to George-sama and Jessica-sama is the same as if it had been drugged to me. In other words, it may be an emotion I must never experience.
Shannon, you've had your head in the clouds for some time now. Do you not feel well?
No. My apologies. Natsui's words were right on the mark. Even Shannon couldn't believe that she hadn't noticed Natsui until she'd called. Normally it was essential that she focus on her cleaning at this time of day, but she'd spent all her time sighing and hardly making any progress.
Even when there aren't any guests around, you must always be alert. Behavior like this is shameful for an Oshumia family servant.
Yes, ma'am. I'll take care from now on.
The head of my husband will return very soon. Have you finished cleaning the study? Have you finished cleaning the staircase?
My apologies, not yet.
Yes, I know. So I had Lunon do it. While you were plodding around cleaning the hallway, she finished cleaning the study and the staircase.
That's because I wanted to clean it properly, so I took some time.
Shannon was simple and honest, so she would always carry out her tasks seriously and properly without any omissions, so she was always slow with her work. In contrast, Lunon cleverly avoided doing extra work whenever it was possible, so she could complete her jobs with a result that looked almost the same to an outsider but in a much shorter time. In other words, she was a shrewd employee. Compared to that, it's probably fair to say that Shannon wasn't very shrewd at all, talking back to Natsui when Natsui was in a bad mood. Of course, there was nothing that Natsui couldn't stand more than a servant talking back. Her forehead creased and she spoke sternly, and yet her slow, admonishing style of speech was even more terrifying and finally made Shannon realize she had said the wrong thing. Then perhaps you should aim to do a truly thorough cleaning. Shannon, I order you to clean the reception hall right now. It is an important hall, where several pictures treasured by the head are displayed, and where honored guests of the Oshumia family are welcomed. Clean it thoroughly, so that not a speck of dust remains, and so that even you are satisfied. Of course, you will finish before the day is out. Until you finish that and report to me, you will not be permitted any food or rest. Understood?
Yes, madam.
That is good. Servants should endeavor to only use those words. The next time you talk back, your punishment will be even more severe. So with that in mind, engrave these words into your heart.
Yes, madam. Thank you for your guidance.
You are welcome. Behaving as though her headache was troubling her, Natsui headed off down the corridor. When she couldn't see her anymore, Shannon hung her head and sighed. This is what happened when she had her head in the clouds.
Even though I'm bad at everything I do, I should be able to at least carry out the cleaning as well as an average person can, right? It's because I can't even perform that very well that I'm crying so pathetically. What's even more shameful is that not only have I been unable to perform a single bit of cleaning well, but just now when Natsui was scolding me, I imagined that person appearing and rescuing me. If only George-sama were here. Would he casually step in and save me? Surely he'd show up cheerfully, intentionally acting like he didn't know what was going on, nimbly change the subject and make me forget I'd ever been rebuked by Natsui. I kept envisioning him suddenly appearing from the other side of the door, the other end of the hallway. I envisioned the kind of person that would be an appropriate partner for him in a marriage meeting. I envisioned how unfitting I was for him. Ava clearly told me. It's been repeating over and over in my dreams.
It's so clumsy as always, Nissan. My lady has been in a bad mood since this morning. It just now happened because you talked too much, when you should have just hung your head in silence.
Cannon-kun.
Cannon was suddenly there. His footsteps were always quieter than a cat's, and he never left any trace of his presence. He probably could have stood there forever, and she still wouldn't have noticed him. The expression on Cannon's face was one of hatred. He made that expression for Shannon, who didn't know how to do it herself. Madame and Lennon can fall into hell. That person knows where Madame checks, and only cleans those areas. Her cleaning just now was like that. I know because I saw. She wasn't really cleaning. She's just the worst kind of parasite, leeching off your thorough cleaning.
You mustn't use such dirty words. Dirty words pollute your clean soul, Cannon-kun. So at least don't use those words in front of me, okay?
Cannon turned away as though sulking. It was a reaction that hid his true feelings, which was very like Cannon, but I was a little happy.
I was a little happy.
Yeah.
He was getting mad for my sake.
Cleaning the reception hall will be tough. I'll help.
Thank you, but I was the one Madam ordered, so don't worry. Don't you also have your own work, Cannon-kun?
It's a filthy job. My soul was polluted long ago.
Cannon then hung his head in shame and bit his lower lip. Just hearing you say you'll help is enough for me. If you don't go back to your own job, then you'll be punished as well. And that would make me sad.
Shannon knew Cannon's character well. Sometimes he didn't think enough about himself.
If I don't refuse forcibly, he'll help me even if it means neglecting his own job.
Cannon was a little sad that his goodwill had been rejected, but he realized that what he was doing would only hurt her more in the end, and he gave a single small sigh. Understood. Do your best, Ne-san.
Yes. And I'm also partly to blame.
You aren't at fault at all, Ne-san.
No, I am. So go now.
Cannon-kun's face showed that he still hadn't completely accepted it, but without being any more obstinate, he disappeared. Even though Cannon-kun
came to give me words of comfort when I was down, even so I was dejected again because it wasn't him. That in itself was a sin. It went far beyond any dream the likes of me could be permitted to see. I don't know my place.
Shannon, who had neglected her breakfast, already felt her concentration begin to waver. But if she didn't finish up cleaning the reception hall, she wouldn't receive Natsui's permission to eat. That cruel Natsui had surely told the kitchen something to that effect.
I have to respectfully receive Madam's punishment. That's right. My position in the world is furniture, and I've been intoxicated by a dream that's beyond me.
That's a new picture. I don't think... Have we seen that?
I don't think we've seen this picture yet. I think I know where this is, but...
Is it not the entrance hall?
I guess it is, yeah. It must be.
Because the portrait is also in the entrance hall, right?
I'm trying to remember the layout of the house. I think it is. It'd be on the other side, right? The
Yes.
other side of the reception hall. Is it?
I can't wait for them to just be like, on the other side of the hall,
Beatrice!
Beatrice!
Yeah, I'm excited.
I finished cleaning the hallway and went to the reception hall. Maybe my hunger made my nose more sensitive. I could sense a delicious aroma wafting from the kitchen, even though it was far away. My empty stomach was encouraged even more. Till I finished up here, I wouldn't get any soup. I just had to resolve myself to doing it.
There it
There it
is.
is. Okay.
Several portraits are hung in the reception hall. One of those portraits was thought to hold special meaning amongst the servants. It was the portrait of the witch. It wasn't its true name, but everyone in the mansion called it that. The name of the woman with the elegant blonde hair drawn as the subject of that portrait was Beatrice. It was whispered that she might be the former mistress of Kinzo, the family head. And also that she was the great witch who had given Kinzo the gold of the legend.
Nice recap.
The witch, Beatrice, master of the night on Rikenjima. She was gracious to those who respected her, but she would surely curse those who made light of her. It was in Shannon's character not to neglect rules and beliefs such as those, so she thought of the portrait of her other master as that person herself and always treated it carefully, treasuring it. And it had become part of her daily routine to tell the witch, who only existed inside the portrait, the secrets of her heart. She was furniture. Furniture doesn't complain. Cannot complain. So she had no right to speak for her mind about difficult days. She had no right to open her mouth and say those words. So she at least spoke her mind inside her heart. She spoke her mind inside her heart using words she couldn't say aloud and protested to the formless witch. Of course, the witch didn't answer. She didn't console, she didn't laugh it off. She totally did. Shannon could only interpret that silence as she liked, as though the witch was responding agreeably.
Oh shit.
Beatrice-sama, please listen to the story of my worthless self.
As Shannon wiped the dust from the witch's portrait, she spoke that inside her heart.
I certainly am incompetent and uncultured, just as Eva-sama said. I'm not a person. So maybe I have no right to love. But in that case, why was I given a heart that can know love? At that point, Shannon held back her tears for a moment. The sound of the rain, which had started falling along with the chill in the air, chill air in the reception hall, had made her feel as though her shabbiness had increased another level.
Hold on. I think that you should pretend. You should talk as Shannon. I think this is Shannon.
Real furniture doesn't have anything like a heart, so they don't have people to love, right? So they don't feel pain. If I'm just another piece of furniture, why do I have a heart? For anyone who's confused, we saw the quotation marks and we're like, what?
Why is she talking out loud? It's a bit weird.
If it's going to be this painful and this harsh, I wish I was never given a heart like this.
Oh! Oh!
See.
That actually scared the shit out of me.
I've been waiting so long!
That actually scared the shit out of me.
So, a heart was given to furniture. It would seem that even that man is capable of some quite amusing things every now and then. Are you ready for this?
I'm not ready. What? The witch never answered or laughed. Answered and laughed. Was it my imagination? Was I hearing these things? No, that's wrong. After all, the next words became a voice, and I could hear them not with my heart, but with my ears.
Humans have continually searched for the elements that make up the world since before the modern era. It is said that in ancient times, the Greeks tried explaining the world with the 4 elements of wind, fire, water, and earth. And after that, over several millennia, humans added several elements to those 4, trying to explain the world with several interpretations, such as the 5 elements, the 6 elements, the 7 elements, the 8 elements, and the 12 elements. But they were never able to describe the one sole truth that exists, the single element. However, a single man appeared by the guidance of a star and finally explained the single element that makes up the world. Know what it is?
What? Who?
Are you okay?
Shannon fearfully turned around. I am Shannon right now. I am fucking what?
I'm so ready for this. Lightning! Yo, what up? My girl!
Oh, right there. She existed. Not as an illusion, but as a reality. The contrast made by the lightning made it clear that this was no mere daydream.
It's love.
The witch of the portrait elegantly held a golden pipe. Quick, pick it up!
Oh shit! Oh, I'm so ready for this.
To her mouth and giggled. She laughed at the ignorance that causes humankind's thoughts to stray far from the most simple answer.
That man explained everything in the world with love. That is the single element.
Who is this man?
I don't know. That man fully explained how the world was constructed with the smallest possible number. Surely you should know how this person is. How simple and clear. How splendid, exhilarating, pleasant, and thrilling. The year that man was finally born is called the start of the modern era.
Shannon lost any words to speak. Me too.
I was told my cackle game needed to be improved. I have done so.
Yeah, I gave Ben shit for how bad his laugh was at the end of the last episode. I'm pretty impressed. She thought that when they're first meeting an unknown guest, her first word should be to ask that person's name. Oh.
That was a bit weird.
Sound just cut out.
That's fine.
But without saying anything, Shannon knew this person's name, so she refrained. No, surely it would be the greatest disrespect for someone who lived or worked on this island to ask this woman her name. After all, she was the other master of this island besides Kinzo. Beatrice Summer.
Yeah, she knows. Indeed.
Oh!
Oh! Tips. Yes! The Golden Witch who has lived for 1,000 years. She has
Like
surpassed
black tea and ice cream.
The limits of humans, and like demons will sometimes appear in response to the summons made by humans to offer her gracious power in exchange for a price, a small one. She likes black tea and ice cream. She hates boredom and people who deny her existence.
That's the same one as before. I'm a little disappointed, honestly.
Indeed. I am Beatrice. Even after 1,000 years, I see that people still always give me that look when we first meet.
The witch giggled at how Shannon's reaction didn't betray her expectations. Shannon realized that she had met with a being that mustn't be met with and took a step backwards.
That's fine.
That's where the wall and the portrait were, so even as she gazed at the witch's portrait was touching her back.
The source of your trouble is love. Love, the single element that makes up this world. In other words, it is everything in this world. When it is lacking, then your world is lacking too. It is no different than scooping water into a canteen with a hole in it.
Who said that before? Who said it?
Scoop, I believe it was George.
Okay.
That eternal desert of the heart never fills. It is the original sin that humans are founded upon and everything is made of. Understand? When Adam and Eve put the fruit of knowledge to their lips, love is what they learned of. Because of that, humans were chased out of the garden and became fully human. Which means that knowing love and suffering is what makes one human. You kind-hearted child, you ought to be praised. Now that you have gained this knowledge, you are no longer furniture. You are now human. I recognize that with all the authority of my name. Is it hard for a common person to understand? Very well then. Forgive me. It has been a long time since I have spoken with a human. Allow me to apologize for my talkativeness.
Without waiting for a reply from Shannon, Beatrice laughed pleasantly for a while.
Perhaps this isn't much by way of apology, but I would be willing to grant that wish of yours with my power if you so desire.
Huh?
Oh, here we go.
The meaning of those words surprised Shannon even more than the witch's sudden appearance.
I am offering to bring you and the one you love together. Normally, I would demand something of equal value in return. However, I am in a good mood, and you have never failed to pay your respects to me in the past. That is something worth rewarding.
Hold on. What?
I'm sure this will be fine.
Is that true? Normally, Shannon would have been shocked and struck dumb. But she is! By this seemingly impossible guest. However, almost as though she was already under the witch's spell, Shannon responded.
With my magic, it would be no trouble at all to arrange for you to be joined with the one you love.
Yes, of course, Shannon almost said that without thinking, but held back her last bit of common sense. After all, this is a witch.
The best witch.
A sinister being.
The best sinister being.
The witch Beatrice is clearly trying to slip in through the cracks in my heart and take me prisoner. That sort of temptation, which leads to many fairy tale picture books warned me about when I was young, is right in front of me now.
Fear is also a form of respect. It may be pleasant for me, but we will make no progress this way.
Hold on.
Hold on. What do you want to check? Do you not understand? Can you not keep up with the great Beatrice Summer? The Lady Beatrice.
No one mentioned fear, and I thought that...
I don't see what the problem is. Can we continue, please?
No one mentioned fear, and then Beatrice is just like... Pfft.
She is definitely afraid of me. As the great golden witch, so she should. I may not differ much from the image of a detestable witch that you hold in your mind. However, I do bestow my favor upon those who respect me. Aren't humans the same? Well, I doubt any human would bestow favor upon one with such a hostile attitude.
My apologies. I didn't mean... Shannon eventually realized how rude she was acting towards this guest, and she finally digested the words that had been spoken to her a short while ago. You are no longer furniture. Now you are human.
Ooh.
As she reflected upon those words, Shannon felt as though the witch understood all her worries. What was that, just now about reward?
I say that I can arrange for you to be joined with a man who has captured your heart. Think of it as a sign of my gratitude for your diligence in polishing my portrait day after day. Calm yourself. I ask for nothing in return except your soul. I am generous. However, though I ask for nothing in return, I do have a request.
Look, here it comes. Part of Shannon's heart sent her a warning. This is what all those scary picture books she'd read when she was little had warned her about.
This is fine. Do you know of the small torii and shrine that have been constructed on the ocean very near this island, which you can see when you gaze at the cliffs? What?
Okay. Shannon immediately remembered it. I did too. When you reached for Kenjima by boat, there was a torii and a shrine on that reef that was too small to be called even an islet. I'm pretty sure Kumasawa-san told me its history, but I can't remember it well. A traveling Shigenja? A kind of holy man had built or prayed there or something. Yes, I know about it. But why do you bring it up?
I will not explain everything, including the very basics to one ignorant of demons. Simply put, it's causing me trouble. The truth is, there's a mirror kept inside that shrine. I want you to break it.
It was quite a suspicious... Halt!
Nah, it's fine. It's just a witch, it's
Wait
fine.
a minute.
What? Wait, what minute? We don't have a minute.
No, stop. So, if we're putting this in the timeline, this is before they rock up at the island.
Yes. Which is after the destruction of the shrine, which we know happened.
So the destruction of the shrine happened after this.
By lightning strike.
Presumably with Shannon.
Perhaps.
So what we're learning is Shannon was responsible for breaking a mirror at the shrine, which then was destroyed by lightning. Assuming it was the witch's power, probably. And then Shannon returned to the island and is like, fuck. I'd done something.
I don't know. Maybe we should keep going and find out.
Oh my god, and then the next time she spoke to George, she proposed. Oh my god.
I'm just smoking on my pipe. I don't know what you want me to say. And then she died.
I'm just gonna put my headphone back in so I don't have to be deafened by your laughter. Shannon didn't know the details, but anything stored inside a shrine would have to be something sacred. And she wants me to break it? Why would a witch ask a human for help instead of doing it herself?
It's fine.
There was no need for Shannon to speak her thoughts aloud. Beatrice responded to Shannon's reasonable doubt before Shannon could give her answer.
The magical power of that mirror poses my own. I can explain well with human words. For example, let us speak of the differences between utensils. That mirror is a fork and my power is soup. You cannot drink soup with a fork, correct? If only the resistance of that mirror were gone, I could produce a spoon ideal for drinking soup. After that, I could drink soup as I please and even dig my way out of a rocky prison. I could even gouge someone's eye out with it. Was that not the phrase?
I don't know what you're talking about. If my poor education is to blame, I apologize.
It comes down to this. If you take action and break that annoying mirror for me, I shall grant your wish as a reward. I am in quite a good mood today. You may even change your wish and receive all the gold I bestowed upon Kinzo if you so desire.
But why?
Oh, damn.
I refuse.
What?
When she heard Shannon's words, Beatrice realized for the first time her expectations had been betrayed.
If you have a reason, tell me. If there has been some misunderstanding, I shall resolve it.
I don't really understand the reason, but up until now this island has been at peace and nothing bad has happened. So even if I don't break the mirror, the peace that has existed until today should continue into the future.
Yes, you are quite right. It's just as you say. If you don't break the mirror, the same unbreakable days that have passed until now will continue until tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Why don't I give you an absolute guarantee? I shall state my name, Beatrice, on it. The unbreakable days before this time will continue into tomorrow and the next day, and for eternity in perpetuity.
Shannon felt overwhelmed by an eerie illusion. The mirror probably existed for the purpose of restraining the witch. So if Shannon broke it, the person who stood to gain was supposedly the witch herself. And yet Shannon felt somehow that she had to do it for her own sake. It felt like some premise had been switched around.
I will do nothing but
That was a very deliberate line.
It's great. But grant you a chance to bring your feelings to fruition. It's up to you to decide whether you'll break it or not. If you break it, I shall grant your wish. If you don't, then the tomorrows that came before today will continue for all eternity. Your wish will not be granted for all time. Do you understand? Do you see what I mean?
I don't want anything in return. The witch was speaking.
Fucking organ.
She was pressing Shannon, saying she must break the mirror if she ever wanted to be united with George. It was a declaration that Shannon's feelings would never be brought to fruition unless she broke it.
Oh my god.
Please stop it. I don't want to hear something like that.
It was never my goal to cause you pain. Oh well. When love leads to madness, that is when we see the true charm of humanity. Enjoy that emotion to your heart's content. However, if you wish to borrow my power, feel free to break that mirror at any time. I'll wait. and then you may yell my name and awaken me. I will certainly keep my promise. This way, you should have no complaints, right? I wouldn't force you to decide right now. Easy, is it not?
Was it really such an easy thing to do? No, it certainly wasn't. To Shannon, who was burning with infatuation and worried by love, being tempted constantly and eternally with the way out was a cruel trial.
I won't set a time limit on that promise, but there is a time limit on the magic that can grant your wish. That limit is not of my making. The one you love will decide it himself. You see my meaning?
No, I don't understand.
When the one you care for finds the partner to whom he ought to pledge his love, that limit will be reached. I may be a witch, but I am no demon. I possess no magic to tear apart a pair of those who love each other. The one you love will soon be attending a marriage meeting, yes? You may have stronger feelings for that man than anyone else in the world. However, that doesn't mean you are the most suitable partner for him, does it? I know with whom he will be having his marriage meeting. That girl is the most suitable for Shumia George in the entire world. She came from a good school, achieved good grades, and possesses both composure and thoughtfulness. She is more beautiful than you, wiser than you, more suitable than you. How could an ignorant, incompetent, uncultured girl like you be suitable? You know better than anyone. There are none less suitable than you. Even imagining that you and Shumia George could be joined is sinful and foolish, foolish, foolish. Know your place! Have you forgotten to be grateful for your education? Know your place! George is the eldest grandson carrying father's blood. He's a person who may bear the burden of the Shumia family someday in the future. To answer that expectation, he has studied tirelessly, entered a wonderful college, and is getting wonderful grades. Did you really think that you could snatch George away? You're an educated, incompetent, unqualified, uncultured servant!
Oh, that's...
It's definitely Beatrice.
That's Ava, right.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Oh my god.
That is definitely Beatrice.
Stop it! Don't bully Shannon! Who the hell are you? Oh my god.
At that time, as Shannon held her head, trying to protect her heart from the blade of Beatrice's words, Cannon ran in front of her. Cannon didn't care who this woman was. If this was an enemy tormenting Shannon, whom he loved and respected as a sister, nothing else mattered. Cannon can stay back. This person is... It seemed Cannon also realized that the being standing before him was the witch of the portrait.
Fucking witch.
And also that she was something to be feared.
Run away! I simply wish to give Shannon a chance to claim her award, but it seems I said too much and ended up hurting her. I must apologize for that. But I shall leave behind that promise as a reward to you. If you need my power, call me at any time. I have already told you how. Well then, let us call it a night. Hostile gazes may be pleasant, but they damage your beauty, yes? Disappear! I don't know who you are, but you're threatening Shannon. Don't ever show yourself again.
Cannon's words seemed to deeply annoy the witch.
What's your language, lowborn? I may be gracious to those who respect me, but I am brutal to those who do not.
While she still smiled, the witch's face began to twist itself.
Shit.
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Then an oppressive feeling that couldn't be noticed with any of the five senses gradually filled the room. Even though they couldn't understand it, they immediately realized it was something terrifying. When you swim in the ocean and something large passes by in the water beneath you, you want to escape to land even before you learn what it is. That's exactly what this was like. Please, stop, Beatrice-sama. Cannon-kun is still a child. I apologize for his language.
Oh my god.
Cannon placed his body between the witch and Shannon. There was a tense sweat on his forehead. At that time, the witch certainly held Cannon's fate in the palm of her hand. She didn't even need to lift a finger. She held a grasp on his fate so tight that a single twist of her smile could easily crush it. Cannon understood that as well. So he started sweating. His knees felt weak. However, Beatrice abruptly released that feeling of tension and laughed.
Very well. If you ask, I will forgive you just this once. Cannon, is it? In deference to her, I shall forgive you tonight and send you off. You ought to thank me. Well then, let us call it a night. In parting, I shall leave you with a small souvenir. What are the palm of your left hands, you two?
When Beatrice grinned broadly and snapped her fingers, their left hands stretched out in front of them against their will and their palms opened.
Oh, this is good.
It was a strange sensation, as though only their left hands now belonged to someone else. It felt like that only their left hands had become puppets, which were being pulled by strings hanging down from the ceiling.
What are you trying to do?
Cannon resisted, but he couldn't retract his hand of his own free will.
Don't struggle. It will be over soon.
When Beatrice held her pipe aloft, a gold-colored sparkling dust came out of the smoke and hovered in the air.
Oh shit.
That sparkle eventually became several gold butterflies. The beautiful butterflies danced freely throughout the reception hall, forming a fantastical and beautiful world. And 2 of those butterflies alighted on the palms of Shannon and Cannon's hands.
Ugh.
Ouch! There was a sharp pain as though they'd been burned when the 2 of them tried to examine their palms that hold on their bodies. That hold on their bodies, which had been there a second ago, had gone without a trace. Mark? What is... There was now a tiny burn mark on the palm of her hand, and it was shaped like a butterfly.
What is this supposed to be?
Apparently Cannon had the same mark on his hand. He stared at the witch hatefully.
A simple greeting. I have no hidden motive. It is nothing more than a bruise. It will heal in just a few days. There's not even any need to care for it. I made that mark so that tomorrow you will not forget that I truly was here, and that I made a promise with you. An encounter with me can be quite shocking. Sometimes, when the next morning comes, people try to think of such an encounter as a dream or an illusion. You ought to consider this slowly and carefully, Shannon. And you should probably take a good rest, look at my mark tomorrow morning, and try considering it again. I shall not coerce you in any way. You should freely decide your future by your own will. Still, to think that one could obtain the object of their desire for such a small price, surely this would annoy to no end the great artists who write plays about blighted love. Well then, let us meet again when the chance arises. How entertaining it is to have a conversation again after so much time. Goodbye, furniture.
Beatrice's body crumbled like smoke and blew away. It was golden smoke, no, a cloud of gold butterflies. They scattered in all directions inside the reception hall, leaving a golden splash before disappearing into thin air. After that, only the cold silence was left. It was so silent, it made both of them think they might have been daydreaming until just a moment ago, which is why the witch had left those marks. She had done so to make it impossible for them to think of this as a daydream. As Shannon and Cannon remembered the butterfly bruises on their hands and the pain they'd felt when they'd been made, they kept standing still, stunned. And from that moment on, Shannon was tormented by days of suffering and conflict.
Fuck. What a nice lady Beatrice is.